Season 3 is little over a week away, and as with every season, we can expect a few balancing changes to drop upon release. But what do we know up till now? Let's find out. Hey guys, I'm James from the Omnic Post. A new season usually brings a lot of new stuff to the game. A new team, a new Mythic skin, a new series of events. There will be a lot of new stuff upon some old stuff. But besides all of that, we can also expect some balancing changes. Even if that latest patch wasn't that long ago. And to be honest, had the demand for Roadhog changes not been that big, they most likely would have held it off till Season 3. As Alec told us during that interview with Flats and Emon, it was quite the kerfuffle. I always wanted to use that word in a video, kerfuffle. Life goal achieved. Anyways, during that same interview, Alec also teased some future changes to different heroes for Season 3, well, and some others for beyond that. Now, I have made shorts on all of these changes, but today we're going to go a little more in depth on all of it. Let's start out with some bad news. Blizzard has been talking about a small rework for Brigitte since months now. Brigitte has not had it easy, and she is one of those heroes that a lot of players do not want to see perform, because she can be devastatingly good in countering squishy heroes. And depending on who you ask, she is either still too strong, she is doing okay, or she is completely broken. And when that starts happening, it usually is a good time to start thinking about a slight rework. And the way they want to do that is by giving her a new ultimate, which is understandable. Back in the day when Brigitte used to light up, you knew that the enemy team was going to do a big push, as it is the case with most of the ultimates for supports. But lately, it had just become a lot less impressive. Nice sounds and light effects, but now some will say that this is happening because people are playing Brigitte wrong, and others will just blame Blizzard. Whatever is the case, it is happening, and we don't know what their plan is with that ultimate. We do know that it needs a lot of new art and VFX, so much so that they won't get it done by Season 3, sadly. Alex said that the update is currently planned for Season 4, which should be somewhere in April. So yeah, I started out my video on all the changes for Season 3 on something that will not change in Season 3. Sorry. But I know a lot of people were wondering about this, so now you know. But what is changing in Season 3? Well, what about Reinhardt? The old German Crusader has been a prime example of what a tank is in Overwatch. At least that was the case in Overwatch 1. But in 5 vs 5, his barrier has become a lot less useful. And sure, they gave him some new toys like the double fire strike, or him being able to stop and kind of steer his charge. But he is still getting outshined by all of his colleagues. Well, most of them. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that Reinhardt is still a very useful tank. But back in Overwatch 1, he was the everyday tank. Now, he's more of the situational tank. And I think we can all agree that Reinhardt should not be a situational tank. So a lot of players have been asking for some changes, and according to Alec, that is coming in Season 3. Now, Alec was hinting heavily towards his fire strike. Now, what I'm thinking that they might do is remove his double fire strike, but put it on a really short cooldown. So that way he gets a bit of a range tool to poke at the backlines. They might have to tune down the damage of his fire strike a little bit to get that done though. Or they might just raise the damage and keep it as is. But if that had been the case, I think they would have just included it in the previous patch. Another tank hero that is getting some love in the next season is Wrecking Ball. Guys, this one really scares me. And I know I am not the only one. Even Blizzard is kind of worried about the repercussions of buffing that little hamster. Alec Dawson had stated previously that Wrecking Ball is balanced on a razor's edge. That sounds sharp. Meaning that a slight bump to the left or right might either break him or make him seriously OP. So with every change they do to Wrecking Ball, they're kind of playing a game of Jenga. That's the one with the tower, right? That you need to try and keep upright? Yeah. I know it's a bit of a weird analogy, but you get my point. Now you could also ask yourself if he really needs balancing, since he is on that razor's edge. And Wrecking Ball players would say yes. He would squeak something really incomprehensible. But in the end, that would be what we all say about our main character. On the other hand, he might need a slight nudge. Just don't overdo it, Blizzard, please. Please. Another tank that might be on the receiving end of some changes is Ramattra. They're not happy with the indefinite duration of his ultimate. Now, in case you haven't played Ramattra, his ultimate will connect to all nearby enemy players and damage them over time. The thing is, his ult will keep going as long as he is still connected to at least one enemy player. And to spice things up, they push him into Nemesis mode, which not only makes him harder to kill, but he also becomes faster at that point. It's almost like one of those old Benny Hill movies. So yeah, they want to change that. Now, from what Alex said during that interview, I think they want to kind of remove that indefinite part. They want to basically make it deplete over time. Now, I might be pissing some people off by saying this, but I don't think that is the solution. I kind of like that whole indefinite thing. It forced teams to work together to kill him. I mean, every other big offensive ultimate in the game has you either hide or run. This one really felt like Blizzard wanted us to work together and smack the silly out of that overconfident Roomba. And sure, that is not easy in its current state, especially in random groups. But if you have an organized team, preferably with an Ana, you just flask him and focus him down. And you will only have to do that once or twice, because after that the enemy tank is just going to switch, which in itself might also be an issue. But anyways, I think that making him a tiny bit easier to kill might be the way forward. And one option I'm thinking of is making his power block less useful. Maybe shrink that circle while he's blocking. I don't know, there's a lot of different things they can do. I just think that taking away that fluid duration of his ultimate is going to make him less unique, less fun. And trust me, while you're ulting, you need to make some strategic choices. Who you're going to follow, who you're going to ignore, how can you get back as fast as possible? There was some strategy to it. Maybe not on every tier, but that's why I always enjoyed it. I guess we'll see what they're going to do. Now, we did not get an ETA for this specific change, but I wouldn't be too surprised if it made it into the game by Season 3. And mainly because this change does not require any art, and Alec was kind of already very specific at what they might do. So, yeah, I think they know all too well what they're doing. Besides all of these hero-specific changes, there's also a role-wide change for tanks. Their health will be taken down in all game modes except for role queue. So in role queue, they're going to keep their bonus health. Don't worry too much. But this way they want to try and stop people from stacking tanks in the open queue modes. Or they want to avoid that some of these tanks become extremely dominant in deathmatch. And the final change we know about is actually for all heroes. They're going to change the ult retention. So the fact that we keep up to 30% of our ult charge if we switch heroes. Now a few minutes before I recorded this video, Aaron Keller shared that they're bringing it down to 25%. I don't know if that is going to be enough to convince all the naysayers. I mean, on my tier, that ult retention is not much of an issue. It's actually quite handy. It pushes a lot more people to switch to other characters. But in higher tiers, some people are really getting their knickers into a twist about this. Some of them because they hate counterpicking. Which is kinda weird. It always has been a thing for Overwatch, no matter what you say. You can't convince me otherwise. I remember Jeff Kaplan stating exactly that. When I used to play Paladins once in a while, I got so frustrated because I couldn't switch hero mid-game. It's one of the things I love about Overwatch. And on higher tiers, the retention hits differently, because those players work on a different strategic level. They organize around punishment and advantage when you lose a fight or win a fight. They go really hard on that, while the rest of the player base can barely group up. It shows yet again how difficult it is to balance Overwatch for all these different tiers. It's not easy. Anyways, that is about all we know for now for Season 3. Rest assured though, there are definitely going to be more changes than what they mentioned in that interview. Well, except for Genji. Alec confirmed in the interview that they currently have no plans for Genji. Sorry, but tell me, which hero definitely needs changes in Season 3? And how do you feel about ult retention? Let me know in the comments. Join me during my streams on twitch.tv/DamesIsTV. And make sure to subscribe for more updates on Overwatch.